Welcome to Elena's Barre Low Impact Full Body Workouts. On this channel, you find different fitness format workouts that will help you to lose fat, tone up your muscles, improve your posture, balance, gain overall strength, stamina, endurance, and flexibility. Check more classes on Elena at Elena's Barre Patreon. Join us for my crazy piano practice and various music challenges with Elena's Barre community on Sundays. Try out different comments during our live streams and see what happens. On Saturdays, we talk about controversial topics that can trigger you. If you'd like to dive in deeper into interesting topics and discussions with us, please support our new YouTube channel, The Resurgence, at The Resurgence of Sanity. If you'd like to call in and share your story during our live streams, please check our community rules and guidelines. You can also read my articles on Elena's Barre Substack and tell me what you think about the topics. You participate in all of our activities voluntarily at your own risk and discretion. Read the disclaimer in the description box. If you don't want to be mentally or physically challenged, I suggest that you skip this video. Thank you for your understanding. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Barre Low Impact Full Body Workouts. I'm today with Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing okay. We had to push it back an hour because I had to work a bit extra this morning.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Steve. Today we have an interesting topic. We are going to talk about father-daughter relationship. And it's not small daughter, it's a grown-up daughter, right? As far as I understood, Steve.
Well, that's where we're going to get to.
Perfect. Yeah, guys, and if you want to call in and join us for this interesting conversation, you can always click here on the link that I shared with you and call in, okay? We are going to have a lot of fun with this. And before we start, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your support is highly appreciated, and also go check The Resurgence of Sanity. Subscribe to the guys' YouTube channel. I'm going to quickly share our schedule here. On Saturdays, we talk about interesting, controversial topics like today. Then on Tuesdays, we temporarily paused the show where we were debunking feminist lies with Eamma. We are doing interesting interviews. If anybody wants to talk, we can always schedule it, and it's going to be most likely on Tuesday, guys, because people already know this schedule, that we've been doing it for a while. And if you want to talk to me, you can just reach out to me on Instagram, okay? And then join me 5 times a week for the fitness classes. And then on Monday and Wednesday, guys, at the Resurgence of Sanity, they have 2 very interesting shows. At 5:45 p.m. Pacific, at 7:45 p.m. Central, and at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so this is our schedule. And oops, let's go back to it. Okay, Steve, since you proposed this topic, why don't you start?
Okay. Well, in the red pill world, the manosphere, I guess MGTOW as well, they talk about the divorce problem and men getting zeroed out and what happens in divorce, that fathers typically lose a lot of contact with their children. And yeah, they still have to pay child support, whatnot. But so they have the responsibility. But since the wife has the physical custody and sometimes even legal custody, he really doesn't have much authority. Yeah. So children are deprived of that daily father involvement. And yeah, we've talked about how it affects men growing up without a father. Well, and how it affects daughters as well. So there's been a lot of focus on, girls growing up without fathers. And I think that's been the focus of certain comments and from the Whatever podcast. you're finding out that a lot of these women don't have a great relationship with their father. And there are ties, or there are studies that indicate a woman growing up without a father is more likely to be promiscuous and have, I don't know, daddy issues, I guess you call them. So, there's a lot of talk about the importance of a father in his children and his young daughters' lives. But hardly anybody talks about what kind of ongoing relationship happens between a father and a daughter. And okay, so what got me thinking about this, I have 2 adopted daughters. One is 26, one is 23. And I haven't had contact with either one of them for 15 years. I reached out to the oldest one. I didn't get any response.
Wow.
And, yeah, parental alienation. Yeah, the lies have been told. Yeah, it was a silver bullet divorce. Yeah, I mean, okay, that is what it is. And I don't have daughters. I even have a grandchild that I've never met.
Wow.
So, I mean, these are the things. This is the fallout. So, and then started working with Nick and Plutarch and Elena. And Elena, I'm 61, soon to be 62. So she's definitely young enough to be my daughter. And so when you kind of I have to figure out, okay, how does this person fit in my life? That, she's married, obviously, so I'm not going there. But what kind of relationship is it? And then it dawned on me, no, I'm kind of treating her like a daughter. And I tease her a little bit. I advise her on things. I listen to what she says, and it's kind of it's a wonderful relationship, and I treasure this. And so I just thought it would be something to talk about what the impact of a father, or it can be a father figure.
Yeah.
I'm not the only father figure she has in her life. I mean, she does still have a father, and that, from what I understand, that relationship was a bit strained, but that's improving. And also another man she's told that is kind of like a father is R.P. Thor.
R.P. Thor,
Right?
George Bruno also.
Right. So, I mean, she's got a lot of us old guys looking out for her. And hey, that's a good thing. I think, how important is that to a woman to have these older men involved in your life, giving, just being friendly, giving you advice, kind of providing some boundaries and some insight and whatnot. What do you think about that?
Oh, I really treasure these relationships with all of the father figures that I have in my life. And I think that Red Pill is a great source for women who are lacking the father figure, especially their biological dad or even a stepdad who would guide them. Because for women, because women rely a lot on their emotions when they are taking decisions, I think it's paramount to have somebody who would guide them to the right path and share some wisdom with them. Yeah.
So the thing about the father-adult-daughter relationship, there is love exchange there. And we are afraid, and in Western society to use the word love, because we always equate it with the romantic love. But no, a father loves his children. You know, he gives much, and he loves his friends, his brothers. That's brotherly love. And if you go through something with another man, especially in wartime, you're going to sacrifice your life for each other. That is brotherly love. So yes, there is love between a father and a daughter. And one of the things that I think is especially important for a woman is this love exists, but he's not looking for anything sexual. No sexual favors. So yeah, that kind of makes his advice maybe easier to take. He's not going to pull punches. He's going to say how it is. He's not going to waffle because like telling your wife something.
Yeah.
A lot of guys might not want to upset her because that's the end of sex. Well, okay, a father can say the truth, and if it offends, well, it offends. And he doesn't want anything from her. So, does that make any sense, Elena?
It does, and I actually have a thought on this. Because if we see women who don't have good relationship with their father, they are trying to substitute it with the simps or other men by not having sex with this man. They're trying to replicate sort of the what they are missing with their father. So if they don't have a good relationship, a good foundation, a good dynamics with their father, they will subconsciously be seeking for a man who would behave like a father, who wouldn't want to have sex with them, but who would give them advice, or help them out when they need. Do you
I
know?
think I know what you're saying, but I'll say it a little bit differently.
Okay.
She wants a relationship with the man she doesn't want to have sex with. But the simp oftentimes does want to have sex with her. He's just waiting for her to recognize what a nice guy he is. So, okay, yeah, she's a gatekeeper of sex. Okay, great. That's proper. Not a problem with what she's doing. But he's just kind of waiting around in the wings for an opportunity or something. So his motivation is not off. Okay, I'm not judging other people's motivations. I'm just guessing that a lot of times a simp's motivation is not totally pure or altruistic.
Yeah, but then you see her motivations for the simp, they don't match his expectations and his motivations. This is why they remain sexless for the most part, or
right.
a woman, they're working on the eggshells around the woman.
Yeah, but the simp, the friend, the male friend, has no authority over her. No actual authority, no implied authority, and really not much influence. He's kind of like a male girlfriend.
Yes.
Now I have no actual authority over Elena. I do have some influence, I think, and maybe some implied authority because she kind of accepts that and yeah, okay. And then Plutarch is around, and we're feeling our way through this, and it kind of works. And a lot of times when he's there and I'm giving Elena advice, I'm just sensing him in the background, just with a big shit-eating grin on his face. And then after I say that, he says, "Yeah, I was just telling her that same thing last night."
And see, this is actually a great example of how a woman has a few men who are telling her the same thing. If she's willing to listen to this man, for example, her husband tells her one thing, dad tells her the same thing, her biological dad, right? Then the father figures tell her the same thing. Then the guys that she has a relationship as brothers, for example, like Nick, right?
Yeah.
From Christianity Unplugged, like he tells me the same thing. Then it must mean something. If all of these people, smart people, tell me that thing, then maybe I should trust you guys. Maybe I should listen to you.
As long as you put us secondary to your husband, as long as all the men are basically saying, "Well, here's my opinion," then they can go on that. But do what your husband says. Trust your husband. When it comes down to his opinion, my opinion, his opinion is the one that matters.
Yeah. Oh, I always listen to my husband. It's just funny to see how you guys have similar thoughts,
Well, and we say the same things in different ways.
Yeah.
And so it's rewarding. So actually, a father or a father figure can be very supportive of the marriage.
Yeah.
And if she's, if either one of them, I mean, theoretically, and I haven't had to do this, but let's say the husband is not something he's not doing right. He's neglecting his duties. Let's say he's even a little bit too harsh. Well, if he was a little bit too harsh, and the true abusive type, not this false baloney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead of going to the state, you know what? In old days, you lived in the community. She'd talk to her father. Her father would, in the U.S., get a baseball bat, call up her brothers, and say, "Okay, we got to go pay this guy a visit." and you just kind of, "Okay, we're here to talk," and then you just smack. And yeah, we're not going to do anything, but pay attention here, because we will if we have to. Okay, so that father, and brothers, but the community is that line of defense where you don't have to go to the state.
Right.
But okay, so on the other hand, let's say the wife's not putting out for the husband. Then if he can jump in and say, well, or the husband can mention that, and it's the father's job to talk to his daughter and say, "Hey, look here, this is the deal." And so, and I'm just pulling out those two extreme examples, but there are all kinds of lesser examples of the role that the father figure can have in promoting the marriage and keeping the peace kind of being a neutral arbiter at times.
Yeah.
And then there's that other really important role that I do every Saturday. You know what that one is, right?
What?
Oh, for all your listeners, everybody's figured out Elena likes to talk a lot.
Thanks,
And
Steve.
so it's a running joke that she's got so many more words than Plutarch typically uses in a day. So on Saturday mornings, he sleeps in, and she jumps on this, and she gets to use up so many of her words that he gets a little bit of peace and respite from this.
Sure. He really appreciates you guys. Yeah.
Okay, I just mentioned it because it's true.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is true. Yeah.
Women do need the social interaction, and they do have a lot more words than than a husband typically wants to do it. And if she's dependent on him for all these social interactions and conversations, it wears out a man.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. So that's why, yeah, she does need some outlet for all this, all the words and social interaction and connecting with others, because it gets to be too much. And then if that burden goes on the husband exclusively, it actually puts a strain on the relationship.
Yeah.
I'm just citing my observation. I'm not passing blame on either the husband or the wife, or man or woman.
Well, this is why traditionally women had other women around them so that they could talk it out and get some wise advice from women. What do they get today, Steve? A bunch of lies. So men are evil, how Nick loves to call them, men bad. Hi, Nick. Great to see you. Yeah. And then women disregard their dads. Most of these girls on the big shows, they have very bad relationships with their dads, or if any at all. Most of them come from single family households, or their parents were never married. So they don't even know that their dads exist. So instead of, the priorities have shifted. They prioritize now their so-called girlfriends who lie to them. And I just wrote an article about this, ladies. If you want to check it out, go read it. Instead of having a good relationship with their fathers.
Well, our last show was about, can women be friends? Or something like that. Can women be friends with women? And one of the things I texted our group was, as a man, or for men, I'm asking the men, can you imagine being friends with another man who wouldn't tell you the truth, who didn't tell you the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Then for women, the question would be, can you imagine being friends with a woman who wouldn't affirm your feelings?
So who wouldn't lie to you?
So, okay, that is the top priority for women, affirming feelings.
Yeah, but affirmation requires lying.
Oftentimes it does. You can't challenge her feelings because that's
Exactly.
not affirming. You can't bring all facts into it because oftentimes the facts might not support her feelings. And so you're not affirming. And so women often do not get good advice, or hardly ever get good advice from another woman.
Yeah.
Okay, if they talk about something, it's like a "you go, girl" type thing. If they share some shameful activity, the other woman will say, well, you did your best, or no, he had it coming, or, well, don't feel bad because it just happened, or whatever. Not calling her out and say, no, you're acting like a 304, or whatever the case may be. But a father would do that, and he should do that, even at the risk of ending the relationship. Is he gonna tell a falsehood, a lie, just to preserve a relationship? Because women left to themselves, I don't see them making a lot of good decisions.
Well, and that's a great point, Steve. When you're asking, will fathers sacrifice their relationships with their daughters for telling the truth? How many fathers are willing to sacrifice their relationships today with their daughters?
Actually, a lot are, for two reasons.
Okay.
One scenario, the daughter was not around. I mean, he was not active in the daughter's life because of divorce, and so he was distant. So now he never got to assert his authority, and they never developed that dynamic. And so she was raised by a bossy mother who basically female superiority model. And so that's her attitude. I mean, she may not recognize it, probably doesn't. But if he challenges her, yeah, that's probably it. And I have some friends, one in particular, he's my age. He's got sons and a daughter that are in their mid to late 20s. And, like most families, they got their issues and their drama, and different kids kind of make poor choices at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I did when I was in my 20s. Nothing new here. Nothing extraordinary. And, okay, so he wants to talk about it and confront the kids, or whatever child. And his wife will say, well, no, you can't do that because, then they won't even stick around and we'll lose our relationship. So oftentimes a woman, the mother, is telling the father, no, you got to go easy on them. And if they're having a joint conversation, how often does the father lay down the law and then the mother kind of subverts or undermines him instead of just shutting up and saying, yep, I support him? That, you know what? Whenever a woman intervenes with anybody, especially with children, in the presence of the children, she's undermining the father. She's demonstrating to the children her lack of
respect to the man,
for the father. And if she's demonstrating a lack of respect for the father, the children are going to be absorbing that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I guess I don't have to respect him. And usually it's not such a big deal. It's not a life and death matter. She just doesn't like it. Her feelings, she feels it shouldn't be this way. Well, if she would just shut up and let it just be, you could back off of it later. But by her jumping in to muddle the situation, she's actually creating the drama that she wants to avoid.
That's so true. I have a few friends, distant family members, where a mother got involved with her daughter's life, and then because she was demanding the things from her daughter's husband, like fixing the house, so she came as a guest into their place, and then she started pointing out the things. So this needs more work, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And then the husband of the girl was like, I'm fine with the way the things are right now. We are not planning on doing the renovation inside the house. So the mother demanded that her son would help out his sister. And then he paid for the renovation and everything. And then as a result, her daughter broke up with this guy, and now she's raising a child by herself. So she's a divorced lady with a house, a renovated house by her brother, but her husband is out of the way because she didn't establish healthy boundaries in the family. And also her nosy mom, she got into it and she destroyed her daughter's marriage.
This bossy mother-in-law mother, where was the father? Where was her husband?
Oh, her husband, he died.
Okay.
So
she took charge.
Yeah.
And then, she got the boss bitch vibe. And so by doing that, she basically undermined her son-in-law, right?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. And, okay, mothers can screw things up. Fathers can screw things up. But both mothers and fathers of adult children still have a role to play to model behavior, and both can have some calming influence and be wise people to talk to. Sometimes we forget that our parents probably went through some similar things that we have. Now, I did not have that kind of relationship with my parents. They were good people, but it was an evangelical Christian. So there was this element of pietism. Pretend to be holy, maintain your reputation. And underneath it never felt, there was something missing, some reality missing underneath the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not trying to be critical of them. That's the way they were raised. But there was a lack of genuineness and sincerity at times. So, I mean, hey, you can call that my baggage. I don't care. You might as well. You might as well acknowledge that every one of us has baggage.
That's true.
And it comes from our family of origin. There are issues with our parents that, things didn't work out perfectly. Maybe they're divorced. Maybe the relationship was strained. Maybe the mother didn't give the proper respect to the father. Maybe the father was kind of a weak man and didn't do what he should have done, or whatever it is. I mean, they're humans.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's each one of our personal responsibility to deal with our own crap. But we also cannot deal with it alone.
Yeah.
And you also probably shouldn't totally rely on your spouse to deal with it, because they might not have the insight into it. And, you need outside sources. Well, that's where a father figure, a good father figure, kind of it doesn't have to be your real daughter, but you can form, I'll call this a surrogate father-daughter relationship that we have. You know what? If your real father isn't there, I think it might be a good idea, at least something for women to consider.
Yeah.
Be open to the idea. I can't tell you how to go out and find that, but you know what? If you're open to the idea, you may talk, just strike up a conversation, or just encounter an older man and say, you know what? He's a decent guy. And then you can say, do you mind if I ask you some questions? And old guys are typically happy to share some of their hard-earned wisdom.
Yeah. It's so true, especially when everything that surrounds women today is filled in with lies and propaganda. It's very hard to navigate in this messed up world. Yeah, women make very emotional decisions. And when they are not even raised, I think the problem that guys are trying to point out when they talk about father-daughter relationships, that it starts very early. Steve, when girls grow up and they grow up without dads, they don't see the need in having a father later on. I understand, and I really support that idea that women should find a father figure if they don't have a strong father with a dominant masculine presence in their life. They can find a father figure elsewhere, but how many of them will want to do that when they were raised that they don't need men, they can do everything by themselves, and they keep the cycle of their mistakes keeps repeating itself,
Not many of them will. Do you know why? Because this feminist, this strong, independent woman, just think of the stereotype feminist, strong, independent woman. Tell me, who of all the people in her life will ever tell her, you are wrong? That was a bad decision. You shouldn't make this choice. Have you considered this? Is anybody ever going to challenge her and tell her that she's wrong? If there's no one in her life to tell her she's wrong, well, I guess you can guess there's no strong father or father figure, because girlfriends are not going to tell you that.
Of course not.
A husband might tell you that, but then you're going to bristle. A boyfriend, you're going to say, oh, he's controlling. Oh, and emotionally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, then he's out. So you screen out everybody out of your life who might tell you that you're wrong. And then you make these stupid ass decisions, like go, $60,000, $70,000 into debt, getting a 4-year college degree in elementary education, early childhood development, social work. You know what? You're not going to make that much money. Now you're burdened with debt. And you pissed, you had party years, but you pissed away time. And you know what? You could have just went to get a job. You could have gotten a job as a clerk someplace, or gone to tech school for bookkeeping or something. a year, 2 years, or got a certificate. And you could probably make more money with that and have a more rewarding career or a rewarding job. Let's cut the career bullshit. Yeah. And then, you know what? The other benefit is, let's say you're a clerk. You're going to be making okay money. If you're a clerk, you're not in a female dominated environment. There's going to be some men around.
Yeah.
So, okay, when there's men around, you're used to men. You may meet a man. You may get married. Now you don't have the debt. Now you don't have to worry about, how am I going to pay off my student loans? And since you didn't go have your party years, your body count is probably lower. And, okay, who's going to tell you this stuff? Or if you made the mistake and you're too far in life and you've made some of these mistakes, who's going to say, hey, you made some mistakes here. You have to own those mistakes, and you have to deal with your situation now. You can recover, but you got to have the humility to acknowledge it and take responsibility. Okay, who is going to tell them that? And why do they tell them those things? To be mean? No, because they love them. They want the best for their daughter. No, you're kind of screwing up here, and I see where this is going. It's going to bite you in the ass going down the road. You're on a bad path. I've seen where this goes. You better correct things. And he's saying it out of love, but he's saying it in a corrective way. And he's willing, you should be willing to lose the relationship by telling the truth.
Yeah.
If she doesn't want it, the truth, she's going to rebel against whatever he says. Okay, then it's on her.
Yeah, eventually maybe she will realize that she messed up when reality starts biting her. And nobody is coming for her savor.
No. She's not.
But like look at these older women who are now single ladies with the cats and boxed wine.
Yeah, and do they take ownership, accountability? No, I just didn't meet the right man.
Yeah, right.
Or I just made a bad choice, and he turned in. He seemed nice, but he was actually a narcissist and an abuser. And I just had to do that, and I just, it didn't happen for me.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, maybe I'm
not
saying that
your fault. It just didn't. It's for some external reason. Her life turned out shitty. Nothing to do with any choices she made.
Right. Well, I get it. Women and accountability, they don't go hand in hand together. But maybe some women, okay, let's give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe they will realize that they messed up. They're the ones who created all of this mess for themselves. They'll take ownership and responsibility for their actions.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's assume that. If they make that first, okay, yeah, I screwed up. Okay, now they're going to have to actually process through how they screwed up and figure it out. They can't do that. That's when, again, they need the father figure to actually talk about their issues and what they did, and he can help take this spaghetti of all this stuff and say, okay, let's lay it out and see where you went wrong. Because unless you know piece by piece where you went wrong, and unless you understand that, you can't make any changes to improve things for the future. And we can't know what the possible best outcome is unless you deal with that closet full of crap that you keep shutting the door and say, oh no, out of sight, out of mind. You know what? It'll never get better until you deal with it. And a woman cannot deal with it alone. So yeah, you could go to therapy with a female therapist.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I wish you luck. Or you can just find a man, an older man, a father figure, and ask him some questions. Because there are, when you think about this divorce culture, there are a lot of men like me out there who are alienated from their children, who want to make a difference in the world, and who care about other people. They're all around you. You don't see them, but they're all there. And I deliver groceries to grocery stores early in the morning. And you know what? You know who's working and receiving the groceries? It's guys in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day-a-week job. They come in early in the morning and they receive, and then they stock shelves. Do you know what these guys used to do before they took on this as a retirement job? Well, one guy was a bank officer. Another guy was a salesman selling business products. Another guy worked for the county soil preservation district, soil and water. So, okay, these are not dumb men, not by any stretch. And every one of them, okay, they're still out there, they're still active, and they all have wisdom because, you talk to them for a little bit, they have sons, daughters, grandchildren. They got their disappointments with some of their kids, some of them, their joys. You know what? They've lived life. And some of them are recovering alcoholics. And some of them, they got into some crime problems and then they straightened out their life. They have vast experience.
Yes.
And we are not making use of all these guys. And they're out there. So, you know what? A young man who's in need of some wisdom and a father figure, these guys are all around you. And men like to help. Not all of them, but, just ask them some questions about their life. Just say, I'm trying to figure this. I'm trying to figure out. Just say, I'm trying to figure out this man-woman thing. How did you deal with it? How did it work for you? Just an open-ended question. And now they'll talk about themselves, and now you'll find out a little bit about them, and then, okay, now you're going to have a question, and okay, you're going to start to develop. You're going to learn from their experience, which is what you want, and, then it gives you comfort that you can actually, this person knows, and now I can ask them something more specific.
So true. I love talking to all the people, honestly, because they are very, very wise. You can learn a lot. And I think this is what we are missing today. We go to these college degrees, especially women, completely useless college degrees that suck up all of your money, and then you get yourself in debt. Instead of getting the wisdom and the knowledge that our grandparents were supposed to pass on to the next generations. Oh, but here we have to be careful, Steve, because a lot of men, they bought into the feminist propaganda, even if they are old, because it's been around for multiple generations. So they might be married.
Some did. They may pay lip service to it, but they got a lot of experience.
Okay.
That says it was kind of baloney. So maybe they had to play along with it. But if you get them privately and say, even ask them, what do you think about this? All this feminism stuff.
Yeah.
Or, how did feminism affect you in your life, in your marriage? They'll probably think about it, and you might get an answer you didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best kind of answers, aren't they?
They are. I would love to honestly run a series of interviews with all the couples, well, maybe not all the couples, but all the people, to see what they think about feminism and relationships.
That would be interesting, yeah.
So, yeah, I just need to find all the people. If you're interested, guys, reach out. Yeah.
Well, I don't really have anything more to say. I think we went almost an hour. We don't have to make every one of these.
We can keep it shorter today. We have Ashton. Ashton, great to see you. Thank you for stopping by. How are you doing? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen you. I don't know if she's still around or not. Yeah, this session is a very beneficial session. I really enjoyed it. Back to school series.
Yeah, well, I just like to give people things to think about.
And it's good because we are lacking the critical thinking in our life. We are lacking the rational thinking. Everyone is just emoting, and it's always nice to have people. It's healthy to have people who are inspiring the thinking process,
Right.
Spinning wheels again here in the brain. Yeah. Wow. Well, you can probably expect another article from me. I'm going to write some of my own observations there and include the points that I made with this conversation. Thank you, Steve. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you know what? I tend to do a lot of talking on our streams. And it might seem like I'm dominating the conversation. Well, maybe I am, but you can always cut me off and interject, because I'm just filling up the space a lot of times.
No. I don't want to interrupt and interject you, because you have wisdom to share. So I want your words to get out there. This is why I'm like quiet, listen, and make notes sometimes.
Okay.
So I made 3 pages of notes. So yeah. We'll do something with it in the article that you can check on my Substack, guys. Go read the articles. I have a lot of interesting articles there. Some of them are summaries of our previous discussions. Some of them are just my observations. And yeah, you can always read them and tell me what you think about them. If you want to join us for our discussions, you can always call in. I share the link. And just make sure that your microphone and camera work well, because we want to be able to see you. Unless we know you, then that's a different question. And then let me go back to our schedule. I'm going to put it here. So on Saturdays, please join us for these interesting deep dive conversations with Steve and Nick from the resurgence of sanity. And also follow Nick on Christianity Unplugged. He has a separate YouTube channel. I have it in the description box. Okay, all of the links are in the description box, guys. And then we have occasional interesting interviews and conversations on Tuesdays that you are welcome to participate in. Just reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, and we will schedule an interview with you. And then join me for workouts from Monday to Friday. And then, guys, on their YouTube channel, The Resurgence of Sanity, have 2 interesting shows for you. So go check them out. Please subscribe to both channels. And Steve, do you want to add anything else?
No, we've sometimes our ideas are a bit challenging, but I recognize that I have created controversy, but it wasn't intentional. But I guess sometimes just things turn out that way. And some of our ideas and observations will continue to be challenging.
And challenge is good. I love challenge. I love controversy. I love these kinds of back and forth discussions.
Yeah, there's a difference between creating controversy for controversy's sake.
Yeah, I know.
And having controversy and debate to resolve issues.
Yeah.
And, for example, in the early church, it took them 300 years to hash out the principle of the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think there were some heated debates and some hard feelings between that? Hey, that's multiple generations of controversy. And, okay, that's what was required to debate the issue and get it hashed out. So if you think you're going to make an omelet without breaking any eggs, probably you're dreaming.
Yeah. I love the productive conversations that lead to solution. I don't love the blood sport debates for the sake of debating. I think that they are just a waste of time and energy, honestly, because this energy could be spent on finding solutions. Instead, people just throw daggers at each other.
Yeah, that happens at times.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we are wrapping up, and I think we got up more viewers here. Thank you so much for joining. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe to both channels, to my channel here at Elena's Bar, and also The Resurgence of Sanity. And I'm going to take us out. Yeah, join us for other activities. Remember to check out the controversial discussions with guys on their YouTube channel. And we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.